Good morning. This is the January meeting of the Albany Parking Authority Finance Committee. I'm asked to come to order. I'm Bill Pitt, the chairman of the Finance Committee. Attendance is Chris Burke, Jen Saponis, and Jordy Jones, directors and staff. First order of business is to accept the minutes of our October 24th, 2025 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read them? Does anybody have any comments?
I'll move the minute.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There's a vote. Moving on to review of our financials. To Sean.
That was my friend, thank you, Stars. Opening up with goals and objectives, the business strategies, continued focus on training, professional growth, as well as focus on increasing garage occupancy and pursuing grant opportunities. Our capital improvements and community projects include heated sidewalks, annual repairs and renovations, plus mural projects. Moving on to our December overview. Revenue for December is at $1,020,000, with our expenses at $986,630, with a net income of $33,369, and our available cash standing at $1.5 million. Moving on to our net income history, our revenue and expense history showing some slight changes due to timing of payments, but overall consistent with prior years.
The income is as expected.
Yeah. Parking revenues. Parking revenues increased compared to last month. Daily income increased by $42,000, mostly from the meters at $33,000. Quackenbush credit increased by $7,000, and the monthly decreased by $6,000, with event revenue increasing at $10,000. Don't see it at projections. Expenses were below projections. Our projection for December is a bit higher due to the anticipated meter licensing fee of $200,000 that we will be paying this month rather than last month. Any questions before we move on? Meter revenues. Meters have increased from November to December by $34,000. However, we had one holiday and two non-emergency snow days, which is why we were unable to meet projections for December. And I believe we're going to have that same issue in January as well, because we have the anticipated storm or two coming already out. That, and I'll take care of all this parking over on meter daily average. The daily average also reflecting the decrease due to the holiday and the two non-snow emergency days. It's not really a huge decrease, but which is still pretty impressive considering we had one less day than last year. So, and then our monthly and other revenue. Monthly and other revenue income were above projections. Monthly decreased by $6,000. However, we did add 27 passes last month, which will be reflected in January's numbers. Other income increased by $500, which is just our EV charger maintenance agreement with the city. So not a huge increase there. Daily garage and lot revenue, we continue to trend above projections. Revenue increased from November to December by $8,000, mostly from Quackenbush's credit increase of $7,000 and a small increase of Riverfront and TK. Nothing too crazy. And our revenue summary. Like I said, we were unable to reach our projections for meter revenue, so we were at -7%. However, the rest of the board is up with monthly and other revenue ahead by 2%, daily garage and lot revenue 22%, and our event revenue reaching over 64%, for a total of a 7% increase for the month of December. Some of the events included Steve Martin, Martin Stewart, Whiskey Myers and Friends, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and that's it. All right, now for the fun part, our year-end summary revenues. So overall, it shows that we were ahead by 16% of total revenue. However, that includes a non-budgeted $918,000. That was a trustee transfer for our debt payment. So in actuality, that number is 7% over budget, which is still fantastic in my opinion.
Why was the payment not budgeted?
We originally thought that we were going to receive, that they were going to apply it directly to what was owed and bill us less. That's how it was explained to us originally. So rather than getting billed for 2.8 million, we thought we were going to get billed for 2. The trustees disagreed with that, and they said that they could refund us that money after the debt was paid. So we had to count as income that way rather than a reduced debt service payment. So we originally reduced our debt service obligation rather than increase the income.
I don't know, you don't know why? It didn't, I don't know.
They disagreed with our bond counsel's reading of the bond covenant agreement that dictated how that process would go. There seems to be conflicting language throughout the bond covenant, so it was just a matter
That's
of.
kind of what I'm wondering. Well, that's why I'm asking the question,
Mine-
like, who's reading it, who's saying that, who's making that judgment, and why, or is there something in the tea leaves that they're uncomfortable with?
I've run into something, not the same, but similar, and I'm thinking they wanted a better paper trail.
Yeah,
It could be that. They had their own internal bond counsel that they had read it, and they weren't gonna release the funds to us in that way, so.
and going forward, this is the method that's gonna work.
We don't have a.
Shouldn't be an
balance
issue
anymore.
moving forward.
Mhm. This was just for the balloon payment
Oh,
for the
just the balloon.
2018 bonds, which are now paid off. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
I just think it's important, especially for the record, to
Of course.
explain that. Thank you.
So overall, we had a pretty good year.
I'd say so.
So again, our year-end summary showing our net income. Misty, I think you can explain this a little better than I can.
Sure. So the total expenses, we have in our budget, we include our annual transfer to our reserve account as well as the meter licensing fee. We have not made those yet, so they're not reflected in that 1.49. In actuality, we're going to be at about after the meter license fee and our recommended transfer to our investment, we'll have netted about 75,000 and whatnot. So the 1.499 that we're showing here is only because we haven't booked those items to the budget yet. And they don't show up on the income statement because they're below the budget. They're not considered operating expenses. So it's a recording thing and it's how it shows up. But ultimately, our expenses are still below budget. They're just not quite as expensively below budget as what's being reported today.
Got it.
All right, moving on to our debt service investment account activity. As you can see, it shows our balloon payment between June and July. Built it up a little, came down a little because of an interest payment we had to make in December. All was expected. Now moving on to our short term, we anticipate paying the meter license fee of $200,000 and transferring $500,000 total to our long-term account this January and February. And then moving on to our long-term, again, so this number will change in January's meeting, or for January's, in February's meeting for January. Just to remind the board, we did set a goal of 15 to 30% of budget to be invested in our long-term account as a strategy for long-term sustainability practices. It also serves a purpose of showing a stronger financial standing when we go out to buy.
How much was it?
Yeah.
No, like, grand scheme, like, once we get there, like.
15, it's 1.5 above. So at the end of this
It's like
year.
1.5 to 2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Uh,
we start feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
So when we hit the 1 million mark, we'll be all right.
Yeah, and we'll hit that and with our transfer this year. So we're gonna split, we're gonna try to transfer 500,000 total for long term. We're gonna do 350 in January. We're just waiting to make sure no surprises pop up between now and then in February, we'll do the remaining 150 for a total of 500. And it'll bring us to 1.2. We set a budgetary goal of 300,000 for this year. And we did it. We were able to exceed that.
And then our EV charger investment account, we will have deposits, this month. So it'll be reflected in the next financial presentation. The number is, it's not much different than the trend has been since we started this year. But it's been going well. We introduced our idle fee and, that's
Yeah.
been proven to help.
Oh,
So,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's all I have.
Awesome. Do we have any new business?
You have the quarterly review of budget results.
Alrighty.
That's really one of those. Okay, so enforcement had an incredible 2025. Well, I mean, we'll talk about the fourth quarter.
Are you on 4A? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry, could you pass the money?
So enforcement ended with they're roughly over $100,000 ahead of last year. They had 3 outstanding quarters, one pretty standard quarter, and no issues, not a ton of issues. We used to have a lot of problems with our equipment. That's been 90% resolved. We're currently working with the license plate reader vendor, Genetech, and a third party that installer that works for them to move from a physical server to a cloud base. It's going to help with some speeds and the way that we download information on a daily. So we're not going to be responsible for having to get into any kind of Wi-Fi area or whatever, so that we can send all the information that enforcement gets to the physical server. It'll just happen on a regular basis. So in short, it's just going to be more efficient. It's cost effective. I don't know why we didn't do this years ago, but
Yeah.
we're going to do it. Good. Yeah. Any questions about enforcement? Numbers?
No, they're doing a nice job.
Yeah, they're really doing well. Better than they ever have.
Quality of life.
Yeah. And that's all I have for the quarterly review of budget results.
Alright. Do we
You're
have,
right, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little misleading.
do we have any, quite all right, do we have any reason to go into executive session?
I do not.
Wow, good job, folks. Nice number. Look forward to next week's meeting. Thank you, everyone. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'm not.
She's
not on the committee.
Oh, you're back. Yeah.
You seem to support you, though.
Thank you. It's a vote. We are done. Thank you.